Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone tonight to are we okay up here? All right. To in-person meeting, our second one of the Kalamazoo City Commission. This is a very special gathering because what happens at this City Commission meeting is we have a room full of esteemed guests who are doing fantastic things in the community, and we get the opportunity to recognize those individuals and the businesses that are also supporting and providing awards and organizations to those individuals. So it makes this a very, very special evening. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to call this meeting to order of the Kalamazoo City Commission for Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Deputy City Clerk Moss, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Decker.
Present.
Commissioner Hess.
Here.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Present.
Commissioner Juarez.
Here.
Commissioner Pradle.
Present.
Vice Mayor Cooney.
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Here. Thank you so much, Clerk Moss. So I just want to remind everyone that we're asking everyone to wear masks for the preponderance of safety here in City Hall and the City Commission chambers, regardless of your vaccination status. Masks may be removed when addressing the City Commission, but should otherwise be worn to cover the mouth and nose. In addition, and I see you're already doing this, attendees should take note of the reserved seat signs that are in place to create social distancing. Your cooperation and compliance with these rules is appreciated. Tonight, for our opening ceremony, we'll have a moment of silence. And I just want to say a couple things before we do this. Often we have an invocation. We don't have an invocation this evening, but these events that we hold are very much about, when we're recognizing young people, it's about remembering something very, very important in all of our lives. And that is commemorated officially yesterday on Martin Luther King Day. But it is so important that we have young people here because it is possible that as you begin to recognize the day, it can become habitual. And as I mentioned when we met to lay a wreath at the beautiful statue of Martin Luther King that we have in Martin Luther King Park, that one of the things that this is for me is it's a renewing of our vows together, our shared values about treating each other as full members of the human family. So as we take a moment of silence tonight, let's think about, we're here together renewing our vows, committing to doing this important work every day as we go forward. So let's stand, please, for a moment of silence, and then afterwards we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So here we go to the best part of the meeting here, and that is the presentation of the 2022 Social Justice Youth Awards. We have a proclamation, which I believe will come after this on our agenda. So this is something we do annually. So as part of recognizing Dr. King and his legacy, the city of Kalamazoo recognizes outstanding youth that are truly living his values, our values, and inspiring our community. Despite the pandemic, we are proud to continue this tradition with 8 outstanding young residents, along with Dr. Lewis Walker and the program sponsors. New this year, we have Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Iota Sigma Omega, Consumers Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Kalamazoo Nonviolent Opponents to War, Life EMS, Dr. Betty and Mr. Tony Dennis, Schupan and Sons, and Dr. Lewis Walker Social Justice Youth Awards, sponsored by the CSM Group this year. Let's get started. Please welcome Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Iota Sigma Omega President, former Deputy City Manager. Welcome here this evening, Patsy Moore. Glad to have you back.
Mayor Cooney, City Commissioners, City Manager Ritzma. It is my pleasure to be here this evening on behalf of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Iota Sigma Omega chapter. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority is dedicated to cultivating and encouraging high scholastic and ethical standards while helping to alleviate problems concerning girls and women. In this year's nominees for the Social Justice Youth Award, we were pleased to find a young woman who is aligned with our purpose, Ms. Brooke Edwards. Ms. Edwards is a vibrant young woman. She is a stellar student, competitive athlete, role model, and actively involved in social justice work. She is currently in the top 10 of the class of 2023 at Kalamazoo Central with a 4.1 grade point average. Brooke serves as a member of the Kalamazoo Central High School Link Crew. As a member of the Link Crew, she mentors freshmen transitioning into high school. She has served as a youth advisor for the Youth Mobility Fund via Kidnap to help find solutions for youth transportation issues in Kalamazoo. She is also a member of the Greenleaf Trust Wealth Development Club. Brooke believes beyond the shadow of a doubt that all people should be treated fair and equal. She is not afraid to speak out against violence or injustice of any kind, and she does it with love and kindness. Ms. Edwards has been involved in Martin Luther King celebrations, community-wide celebrations, and Day of Service. She has volunteered with Isaac, as well as ROI, serving individuals with autism and developmental disabilities. As president and on behalf of the members of our sorority, it is my pleasure to present the first Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Iota Sigma Omega Chapter's Social Justice Youth Award to Ms. Brooke Edwards.
Thank you, Patsy Moore. Ms. Edwards, did you want to make any comments? No? Okay. Thank you for being here with us this evening. I appreciate it, and thank you for all the work you've done to earn this award. Thank you so much. It means a lot. And thank you for joining us with this event, and I'm sure being a regular going forward here. So thank you, Patsy Moore. Now let's please welcome Consumers Energy, a Community Affairs Manager, Derek Knopfs, who will present our next award. Welcome, Derek.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. Thank you for having us this evening. I am proud to announce Devin Porter, this year's winner of the Consumers Energy MLK Social Justice Youth Award. Devin is an inspiring young leader in our community. Particularly, Devin stands out for his leadership among his peers at Portage Central High School, serving as a link leader, helping ninth grade students who transition to high school, a peer-to-peer mentor who helps students model excellent social and educational behaviors, and as a founder of JEDI, I love this name, Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, is what JEDI stands for. His work with JEDI in particular has led to meaningful conversations that have extended beyond the school doors to the community as a whole. Through Devin's leadership, he has hosted difficult conversations, formed a letter to the school board, and planned community events engaging diverse groups. He's taken this work of understanding others' differences even further, partnering with the Ginsburg Society to understand and celebrate holidays of different religious groups. Each year as we honor the legacy of Dr. King with these awards, I'm heartened to see leaders like Devin who will no doubt carry on the legacy of social justice in our community. Nominated by Ashley Bowen, a teacher from Portage Central, I'm proud to have Devin Porter represent Consumers Energy as this year's MLK Social Justice Youth Award recipient.
Thank you, Mr. Knopf.
Guys, so much. This is awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate you joining us here this evening. And thank you, Mr. Knopf, and thank you, Consumers Energy. Next, we are honored to welcome Community Executive of Fifth Third Bank, Ronald Four. Welcome, Ronald.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Greetings, Commissioners. It's good to see you all. On behalf of Fifth Third Bank, I am so proud to recognize Cameron Moore with the Fifth Third Bank Social Justice Youth Award. Cameron stood out with his commitment to volunteerism, focused through organizations like Jeter's Leaders, Peace House, and the KC Special Olympics. The list of volunteer activities led by Cameron is impressive and inspiring. In fact, Cameron accumulated over 500 hours of volunteer time with Jeter's Leaders alone. Nominated by Dr. Harold T. Swift of Jeter's Leaders, the following quote stood out to us as we evaluated applications. Cameron has been able to maintain being a standout athlete in soccer and basketball at Kalamazoo Central High School while still serving the greater Kalamazoo community. And as someone who can appreciate the time it takes to participate in athletics at that level, the commitment then to volunteerism is even more impressive, quite frankly. Cameron's ability to balance both his personal interests and the interests which benefit his entire community demonstrate a maturity beyond his years. On behalf of all of my colleagues at Fifth Third Bank, I am proud to present this year's Fifth Third Bank Social Justice Youth Award to Cameron Moore.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Moore. I'm presuming that you are not interested in making comments at this time, so no pressure there, but I really appreciate you being here, and I want to thank, once again, Fifth Third Bank and your commitment to this on an annual basis. So thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. In our illustrious list here, next up is Kalamazoo Nonviolent Opponents of War Social Justice Youth Award, and the presenter here tonight from KNOW is Enika Way. Welcome.
Thank Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Although Justine is not able to be present today, as she is in Germany as an exchange student, she is watching virtually. Guten Abend, Justine. Kalamazoo Nonviolent Opponents of War, or KNOW, which has been standing and speaking for peace and justice since September of 2002, is pleased to award the KNOW Award to Justine Barnard from Kalamazoo Central High School for a 2022 MLK Social Justice Youth Award. Justine has worked to increase voter participation by connecting drivers and voters to help them reach the polls on Election Day. Justine seeks out educational opportunities and applied for and was a finalist for the Telluride Association Sophomore Seminar in Black and Ethnic Studies. She applied for and was accepted to the Yiddish Book Center Great Jewish Books program, and this year she's studying abroad in Germany as a Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange Scholar. Justine demonstrates an understanding and respect for diverse backgrounds in her interactions with others. She seeks out educational opportunities to learn more about diversity, such as researching cash bail's impact on communities of color and participating in a community forum on local bond practices. In addition to these actions, Justine has also participated in the following activities. She has been a Youth Mobility Ambassador participant for the Youth Development Network. She has been a child care volunteer at the YWCA, and she served as an intern on the John Hoadley campaign for Congress. KNOW is honored to award Justine Barnard for a 2022 Social Justice Youth Award. Thank you.
Thank you very much to KNOW, and thank you for being here with us tonight, Ms. Way. And I want to thank Ms. Justine Barnard, who presumably is watching this online. So thank you from all of us. Keep up the good work. I believe that now we are on the portion of our program when we welcome the Director of South Operations for Life EMS, John Pinkster. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. I have the privilege this evening of introducing to you Ms. Brittany Wright. Brittany Wright is a compassionate young leader with an outstanding focus on community service, believing in a larger goal of providing basic needs, education, and entertainment to youth of our area. This focus has been expressed as action through her involvement in the MERS Tate Explorers and her organization of fundraisers that have provided more than $5,000 in scholarships for girls in both Kalamazoo and Tanzania. Through this same community-minded focus applied on a global scale, Brittany has even been able to reach across the ocean. In partnership with the Wodasawa Domestic Workers Organization, she aided 3 girls in Tanzania in attending a trade school, which will provide them with lifelong skills necessary to both open and run their own tailor and dress shops. In regards to diversity, Brittany has stepped up to learn about the poetry of African Americans of the past, even performing one of the works she studied at the state's Poetry Out Loud competition. Realizing the importance of women of color in the world, she also wrote an article on the life of WMU graduate Dr. MERS Tate for Girls Can magazine. The life of Dr. Tate has inspired Brittany to pursue an interest in the field of nursing, where she can positively impact the underprivileged, who often receive inadequate health care. Brittany hopes that obtaining her registered nurse degree will inspire others to recognize that their hopes and their dreams are attainable, and that their skills and talents are not something that can be taken from them, even in the face of adversity. Brittany's own words reflect this desire and inclusivity when she stated, "I want to be a role model for all kids when they come to see the doctor." She is quick to ask questions and eager to find solutions to the problems of others. A natural giver, Brittany will find a means to make sure that all are welcome and included in her day-to-day activities. And to that end, has organized events such as the Community Halloween Party at the Crossroads Mall. A service project under the MERS State Explorers, Brittany took the lead in registering nearly 200 youth ages 8 and under for a free, safe event that included a costume contest, candy, games, and face painting. And who wouldn't like to be there for that? Brittany fills her free time through her involvement with her church, school teams, and extracurricular organizations such as the MERS State Explorers, ensuring that someday she will most certainly attain her dream to work in the healthcare field, where she can serve others as a lens of equity while ensuring that those in her care are treated without prejudice. Nominated by Sonia Hollins, who serves as both Brittany's mentor and the executive director for the MERS State Explorers, I have the privilege of presenting this year's Life EMS Social Justice Youth Award to Brittany Wright.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being here, Ms. Wright. And thank you, John and Life EMS. Next up in the list of awards is Dr. and Mr. Tony Dennis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Anderson, Vice Mayor Cooney, City Commission, and City Manager Ritzman. We are inspired by the love we have for our children, Imani, Amir, and Tony, all who attended Kalamazoo Public Schools, graduated from Lloyd Norris High School, and also our daughter Amir was awarded the Lewis Walker Scholarship. Because of this, and the fact that we also love the city of Kalamazoo, my wife, Betty, and I were moved to give a scholarship to the city of Kalamazoo's Lewis Walker Scholarship. We are extremely pleased to present the Lodge Dennis Scholarship to Jackson Bergen. Jackson is a definite leader in our community. He is in the National Honor Society, serves at the Kalamazoo Center for Youth and Community, where he serves those without homes. He created a GoFundMe to help out the homeless population as he serves at the Inner City Youth for Change, where he's done numerous community service projects, including a fun day for students and food drives. His concern for people spans internationally. He went to Sierra Leone to help children. He's also a leader as a student athlete. He has been the captain on the football team and plays a variety of sports, including basketball, golf, and tennis. He is a leader at his church, Mount Zion Baptist Church, and he believes he's serving our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, when he serves others. One thing that impressed us was how well-liked Jackson is by his school staff, church members, and fellow students. He has won multiple Teacher Choice Awards from Lloyd Norris High School and received 2 nominations for this award. One from his principal, Mr. Christopher Aguinawa, and the other from Reverend Morris Brooks, former Director of Family Ministries at Mount Zion Baptist Church. We are pleased to present the Lodge Dennis Social Justice Youth Award to Jackson Bergen.
I just want to give all glory to God who gave me the opportunities to help change my community.
Thank Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here with us, Mr. Bergen. And Dr. Betty and Mr. Tony, Dennis, thank you for your commitment to this on an annual basis. Next, please welcome Judy Woolsey, Executive Assistant to the CEO of Schupan and Sons, who will present the next award tonight. Welcome, Judy.
Welcome, Mayor. I don't know if Ron was here last or not. Who brought that 6'5" guy? Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and students. I am, excuse me. I'm pleased to introduce Jaden Kelly to everyone. Jaden is an active youth ambassador in our community and works hard at being a champion for different events in the Kalamazoo community. He has a habit of just showing up at community events, lending a hand. His causes that touch him the most are the BLM protests and marches and dinners honoring women of color. Sometimes he has to walk into town, but he doesn't let that deter him from getting to the events that he feels matter the most. He strongly believes in setting an example as a strong leader at school as well. He is very soft-spoken, but kids listen when he talks. They value his opinion and look to him for guidance. He documents social justice efforts via his photography, but also rolls up his sleeves to be an asset when needed. Jaden has poise and is comfortable with varying age groups and cultures. Jaden is a member of the Lloyd Norix Business Club and Student Council, as well as the Young Democrats Club. He's drawn to individuals that may want to get involved but don't exactly know how to participate. He's also worked closely with Stephanie Moore to get the black vote out in Kalamazoo with activities leading up to the November 2020 election. He has participated in Planned Parenthood fundraising events. And Jaden is the epitome of what everyone, I just met him and I love him, should aspire to be. Someone with a loving heart, hardworking hands, and tolerance for others. On behalf of Fran Dwight, his sponsor, Schupan and Sons is proud to present Jaden Kelly with the Schupan and Sons Social Justice Youth Award.
I'd just like to say that it is a great honor to meet all of you, and it's a great honor to lead some of the young individuals who I've met in my life. And I do hope that they become great inspirational members of the city of Kalamazoo. Thank you. It is a great honor.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. I would like to thank Schupan and Sons for sponsoring this award for years. Mr. Kelly, thank you so much for being here. You honor us with your presence tonight. And Judy, thank you for being here to present. Now we get to a foundational piece of all this work, and we're honored to have Dr. Lewis Walker here to present the award named in recognition of his work in racial justice in Kalamazoo. So please help me welcome Dr. Walker.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and residents. And I'm so delighted to see an old friend, colleague, back in the saddle again, Dr. Cooney, a man whom I respect and love very much. But I'm delighted to be here this evening to share with you a young woman who has exhibited greatness at such an early age. Her accomplishments to date demonstrate that she has a vision of a world in which everyone can thrive, and the ideals of equity, justice, and liberation are a reality for all people. Morgan has almost a perfect 4.0 grade point average at Kalamazoo Central High School, and she has been able to let her brilliant light shine through her leadership in numerous organizations. A few of those organizations are NAACP, Youth Programming, You Go Girl Program, sponsored by Link Inc., Delta GEMS, Group Homes for Youth, Galilee Baptist Church, Youth Leadership Team, Youth Choir, Kalamazoo Central Choir, 4 years, Women Ministry, Thanksgiving Baptist Basket Drive, where she's helped distribute fruit and vegetables to needy citizens of Kalamazoo's North Side community. Her efforts to feed those in need has not been confined to Kalamazoo. In 2018, Morgan was recognized for her mission work in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where she worked feeding the homeless population in the downtown area. In October of 2021, Morgan was the recipient of the NAACP Dr. Charles Warfield Youth Community Service Award for her involvement in many local community service projects, such as Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the Gospel Mission, Kalamazoo Black Arts Festival, Black Lives Matter, and several others. In sum, Ms. Morgan Scott has lodged hundreds of hours serving her community. She's a high achiever and a true believer that all people should be treated equally without prejudice. Again, she has a beautiful vision of the world in which everyone can thrive, and the ideals of equity, justice, and liberation are a reality for all people. I'm grateful to Ms. Sadie Miles for nominating and bringing this outstanding young woman to the attention of the city commissioners and citizens of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Her parents are here, Doctors Michael Scott and Tamara Scott. I want to say to you, we certainly thank you for sharing your splendid daughter with our community as she continues to make a positive difference in the lives of others. And therefore, I am extremely happy to present this year's Dr. Lewis Walker Social Justice Youth Award, sponsored by the CSM Group, to Ms. Morgan Scott. Give me a second.
I just wanted to say I'm truly grateful to receive this award. I don't take it lightly, and I'm honored to be among so many great youth. I want to thank my parents. I want to thank God and my sponsor, Ms. Sadie Miles. Thank you.
Ms. Scott, we are honored to have you with us here tonight. Thank you. I appreciate that and the work you're doing. Shout out from us to your parents, also great members of this Kalamazoo community, and I want to thank them as well. And Dr. Lewis Walker, thank you for your continued work. Lastly, thank you CSM for sponsoring Ms. Morgan Scott. All the recipients will receive, let me see, do we have someone else before we get to this? All recipients will receive a certificate, cash award, and a one-year membership to the NAACP. So, speaking about that one-year membership, I'd like to welcome Larry Tolbert with us this evening from the NAACP. Mr. Tolbert.
Mayor, commissioners, and students. I'm Larry Tolbert, the third vice president of the Metropolitan Kalamazoo branch of the NAACP, which is the oldest civil rights organization in the United States. We would like to congratulate the youth recipients for participating and making an impact for social justice in our community and eventually throughout this country. We are awarding each student recipient a one-year paid membership to the Metropolitan Kalamazoo NAACP branch. Also included will be a one-year paid subscription to Crisis Magazine, which is published by the National NAACP office. The National NAACP and its Crisis Magazine were founded in 1909 and 1910, respectively. For the first 24 years, the magazine editor was W.E.B. Du Bois. And we have made it very easy for these youth to participate. All they have to do is fill out the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tolbert. Mr. Tolbert, thank you for being here with us this evening and making it the event that it is, and thank you for all the work of the NAACP here in Kalamazoo. At this point, it almost feels like you kind of do want to do a mic drop and say, okay, this is it. Let's leave on this high note, because I think it gives us all hope that if we have young people who are committed to doing this work, who are coming behind us, then I think that we're going to be making sure together this is a good place for people to live. So thank you once again. I want to congratulate all the youth recipients for participating and making an impact for social justice in our community. I want to thank everyone who sponsors the youth recipients for continuing to support and publicly acknowledge this very important work. So please join me in congratulating all the recipients once more. Yeah. But we do have some of the things to do yet tonight. We'll give just a moment here for everybody to get out. I think there's going to be a gathering down in the atrium downstairs, maybe some more pictures taken down there. Now on our agenda, we have a proclamation. Tonight's proclamation celebrates Irene Stearns Day on January 30th, 2022. Irene Stearns and her daughters are here to receive the proclamation, and it will be read by Commissioner Hess.
I just have to say it's a pleasure to be able to read this proclamation for you, Irene, and thank you for being here this evening. Whereas Irene Stearns was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan on January 30th, 1922, and began attending Woodrow Wilson Elementary School, finishing her education at Kalamazoo Central High School in 1940. And whereas Irene Stearns began working at the Gibson Guitar Company, becoming one of the first of the Kalamazoo Gals in 1940, and is remembered as the last surviving member of the Kalamazoo Gals, the unsung women who built Gibson guitars in Kalamazoo during World War II, And whereas the Kalamazoo Gals, as novelist Jonathan Kellerman wrote in the foreword to the book Kalamazoo Gals, John Thomas, American History Press, 2013, were a band of intrepid, unpretentious, stunningly skillful, thoroughly American women who made eminent contributions to both the war effort and to the endurance of one of the greatest musical instrument manufacturers ever known. And whereas Irene Stearns will feature prominently in the upcoming documentary film, The Kalamazoo Gals, to promote and memorialize the history of the Kalamazoo Gals, and whereas Irene Stearns has been an active and giving member of the Kalamazoo community, attending local churches, participating in local charitable activities, and has sung in local musical groups. And whereas Irene Stearns married her husband Bob in 1941, she and Bob raised their children, Peggy and Julie, in Kalamazoo. Irene has lived during an eventful century and will turn 100 years old on January 30th, 2022. Now, therefore, I, Jean Hess, on behalf of the 54th Commission and Mayor David F. Anderson, do hereby proclaim January 30th, 2022 as Irene Stearns Day and offer sincere congratulations and best wishes for Irene Stearns for many happy days in the future to share with family and friends. Congratulations, Irene.
Did she get this? Thank you. I'm one of Irene's daughters, Julie, and my sister Peggy is here, and my husband Scott. Irene, my mom, sent a few words to say to all of you. She says, I am not up to making a public appearance today, so thank you for letting my kids accept for me. Thank you for this honor. I feel like I'm one of the luckiest gals in the world. First, to be born on the east side of Kalamazoo, and then to have lived 100 years in Kalamazoo within a couple of miles where I was born. I have tried to live a life filled with strong faith in God, a giving spirit, love, humor, and joy. My brother Andy had a saying when amazing things happened. It was, who would have thunk? Well, I think today he's looking down from heaven saying, Irene, my little sis, who would have thunk you would have lived to be 100 and all the things that life has brought you? And now, having the city honor you with Irene Stearns Day. Thank you, Mary Anderson and the Commission for this honor, and the City of Kalamazoo for being the best place to live. And from us kids, thank you so much for recognizing our mom in this very special way.
And my mom bakes and has to share with everyone. And so to the commission, she's got some candy here for you all. Can I bring it up to you?
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the words, and we're proud and happy to recognize Irene and her life here in Kalamazoo, a very Kalamazoo life. So thank you once again. We will reward ourselves by sharing these afterwards. Next is the adoption of the formal agenda for this evening. Commissioners, you have before you the agenda. Are there any changes commissioners would like to see? Manager Ritzma.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a couple of changes for the consent agenda this evening. First, item G2 is being removed from the agenda tonight. There's some additional work to be done on the payment in lieu of taxes, and this item will be brought back at a later date. And second, on item G4, there's some wording changes to the adoption of the resolution that I will be reading in a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. No other changes from the commission? All right. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to see any changes to tonight's agenda? All right. We'll keep moving forward then. Next item is communications. City Manager Ritzma.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Now we're down to public comments. So this is an opportunity for general public comments. Speakers will each have 3 minutes for their comments. We'll start with in-person speakers, then go to call-in speakers. People who want to offer comments via phone should call 888-382-9556, starting now to the end of the public comment period. DCM Chamberlain will help us manage that. Is there anyone in the audience wanting to address the City Commission? If so, please come to the podium, state your name, and indicate whether you live in the city.
City resident. I wasn't planning to speak this evening, but I realized that the reason that we have the in-person participants speak first is it gives the people calling by telephone some time to call in and get in the queue. So I'm going to give you all 2 minutes, 45 seconds to make your phone calls. And in the meantime, I'm going to make some observations that may not be apparent to people who are watching the meetings virtually. First, we did not have a formal invocation tonight. And many of the virtual meetings also did not have a formal invocation. And I would like to point out to anyone that basically anyone can give the invocation if they want to. You don't have to be of a particular recognized religion. I would really like to encourage anyone from the Satanic Temple to please contact the city clerk's office, and you can come down here and give an invocation. That would give us a little bit of variety, because they have opened up that portion of the meeting to religious observance. It's an open forum, so anyone pro-religion, anti-religion, you're welcome to give the invocation. Just contact the city clerk's office. I've noticed that 2 commissioners are not participating in the Pledge of Allegiance, which is great. I love to see dissent. I hate it when I see the majority votes, which happens 95% of the time with the commission. I want to see some dissent, and 2 commissioners are dissenting by not participating in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think it might be nice if one of those 2 commissioners might bring that up, share with the rest of the commission and the public. Maybe you don't think the Pledge of Allegiance should be part of the meeting ceremony anymore. I would like to see that discussion. Some of you ran that you wanted to change things, and I would like to encourage you to do that change. Now, I don't remember when we had virtual in-person meetings from November 2019 to March 16, 2020, if Mayor Anderson was using the gavel, but it would be nice if you bring back the gavel. It makes the meetings seem a little more official, and tonight you had a little bit of difficulty getting the audience to quiet down. Mayor Hopewell would, bang the gavel like 3 times, and that would little bit easier to open the meeting. So maybe Mayor Anderson, during your comments at the end of the meeting, you could explain why you don't use the comment anymore. And finally, for those who are calling in tonight, please be ready to mute your device before you call in. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alfonso Harris. I live in the city of Kalamazoo, 900 block of North Burdick Street. I wanted to say tonight is the National Day of Racial Healing. And what I'd like to point out is usually black people and people of color are the ones that talk about how much we need racial healing. So I decided to say how racism injures white people. It causes a bad conscience. It makes you feel guilty. It affects your people of color who happen to be your spouses, your partners, your children, or friends of color. And it also hurts poor whites. So I'd like everyone to keep in mind racism is not just a black issue or a people of color issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the chambers who would like to make a comment this evening? Seeing no one, Deputy City Manager Chamberlain, do we have anyone who's called in for public comments?
We'll go ahead and open the lines. Okay. Caller, go ahead. Ending in 1029. You're on.
Yes, my name is Jeff Wiseman. I'm a city resident living downtown. First, I would like to thank Joe Stark for helping me with the lights that are out in the downtown area. And secondly, I have a question still concerning parking of vehicles on city streets for periods of up to 6 months or 9 months with no action by public safety. I've talked to public safety. I spoke to them last week about one car in particular on the north side, on North Burdick. And this car I've called on probably 5 times, and officers have told me they're going to check it out. The last officer I spoke to said he was going to go over there and do something about it, and the car is still there. I see so many cars in the city where snowplows have to go around them, and I'm wondering why they're not ticketed or towed. Nobody's given me an answer. If anybody can respond, I really would appreciate it because I do not understand what's going on. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I believe that's the last call.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Chamberlain. Then at this point, not hearing that anyone else has called in, next is our consent agenda. City Manager Ritzma.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have 5 items this evening. First is the approval of a professional services agreement with Jones and Henry Engineers, LTD, for the Kalamazoo Water Reclamation Plant's tertiary disc filtration process facility construction engineering services in the amount of $967,000. Next is the approval and acceptance of a utility easement agreement from Jonathan Kelsey for a water service installed across 935 East Vine Street for 933 East Vine Street. Next is the adoption of a resolution to allow Clear Haze LLC, doing business as Roca, to operate as part of the social district and commons area downtown. Next is the adoption of a resolution recognizing Young Kings and Queens Incorporated as a nonprofit organization operating in the community for the purpose of obtaining a charitable gaming license. And next are the approval of the mayor's reappointments to the following boards and commissions. First, the reappointment of Daniel Kastner to the Kalamazoo Historic District Commission for a term expiring on January 1, 2025. Next is the reappointment of Marilyn Pulley to the Northside Cultural Business District Authority Board for a term ending on March 31, 2023. And finally, the reappointment of Chad Dodd to the Northside Cultural Business District Authority Board for a term expiring on March 31, 2024.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. Commissioners, the requested action is a motion to approve items 1 and then 3 through 6 and authorize the city manager to sign all documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Made by Commissioner Pradel,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. Deputy Clerk Moss, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Juarez.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooney.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Items on the consent agenda are approved. We are now on to our regular agenda. Item H, Manager Ritzma.
Item H1 is adoption of a resolution approving and adopting the annual appropriation for the year 2022, setting forth a number of mills to be levied, approving an interim appropriation for the year 2022, and establishing policies for the administration of the budget. And this is, has 8 subcomponents to it. First is the approval of the proposed FY 2022 Brownfield Redevelopment Authority budget. Next is the approval of the fiscal year 2022 Downtown Development Authority operating budget and the existing 2 mil DDA tax levy. Next is the approval of the proposed fiscal year 2022 Economic Development Corporation budget as submitted by the EDC board. Next is the approval of the fiscal year 2022 Downtown Economic Growth Authority operating budget. And next is the approval of the proposed 2022 fee schedule for the Kalamazoo Municipal Golf Association. Next is the adoption of a resolution approving the 2022 fees for various permits, hearings, etc., with the Community Planning Economic Development Department. Next is the adoption of a resolution to establish the Department of Parks and Recreation fees and charges for 2022. And finally, adoption of a resolution to establish the City of Kalamazoo Cemetery fees and charges for 2022.
Thank you very much, Manager Ritzma. Is there a staff report on this item?
Yeah, I'd like to call forward our CFO, Steve Vicenzi. So this is kind of the crescendo of our budget season with the approval of the budget this evening, the recommendation for approval. And Steve is just going to highlight some of the components of the budget as well as talk about some changes that have been made. I also have staff here from the various departments if there are any questions about individual departments. Steve?
Tonight, it's my pleasure to present the 2022 proposed budget for approval. Just kind of highlighting a few parts of our process here and a few highlights of the overall budget. You held the budget was publicly posted on our website and transmitted to Commission on December 1st, and it's been available for public viewing since then. You held a public work session on December 13th, and then we also held a public hearing on January 3rd. Kind of getting to a few of the changes here that have been made. We removed $550,000 from the 2022 ARPA fund budget for the emergency management vehicle. We also added $650,000 to the budget for additional housing and affordable housing projects included in the final budget approved by the Foundation for Excellence Board. Those net changes increased the budget by $100,000 from the original proposal to a final total of $245,422,009. The budget also includes a general fund total of just over $73 million. I would like to also bring to your attention a typo that was in tonight's budget resolution. It is just a small typo in the second to last paragraph on the resolution. It refers to distributing the 2021 budget. Speaking with Attorney Robinson, this is not considered a substantial change and just kind of noting it in the public record that we will be updating that to be 2022 as it was meant to be would be sufficient, so there's no further action needed by Commission to update that. And then kind of getting into some of the highlights of what's in the budget. We're projecting an unreserved general fund balance of about 21.4% at the end of this year, exceeding our target of 15% of operating revenues. We project to meet or exceed this target for the totality of the 5-year plan. The budget also includes a proposed unchanged millage rate of 12 mills for operations and 1.8 mills for solid waste. It supports 669 full-time positions and 5 part-time positions, and $81.3 million in capital investment across all the funds supported by a variety of funding sources. I'd like to take a moment here to also thank the City Manager's Office, all of our departments and directors for participating in this process, and specifically thank a few of the budget team members, Melissa Fuller, Jennifer Clark, and Jacqueline DeWaters, for the amount of work that they put in over the last 7 months to get the budget to this point. At this point, I will turn it back over to you for questions and discussion.
Thank you, Steve. Are there questions for our Finance Director or Manager Ritzma at this time? Commissioner Pradel.
Mr. Mayor, hey, Steve, I just had a question. I missed the number. You mentioned that we were above our target for 15% for our reserve funds. You said that was 21 point what again?
We're projecting it to be 21.4%.
Thank you.
About $13 million.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the city team at this time? Don't see any questions. I want to remind individuals who may be watching that this is, there's been some pretty extensive discussions and presentations leading up to this action. So we're definitely had the opportunity to ask a lot of questions and make some modest adjustments has occurred, which is why we're seeing a little different number here tonight. So not seeing any questions, the recommended action, Commissioners, is a motion to adopt this annual appropriation resolution and approve the component unit budgets and fee schedules. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Hess, seconded by Commissioner
Second.
Decker. All right. Thank you so much. Any more discussion? I don't see any discussion at this time. I guess I just want to remind anyone who's paying attention to this tonight is that the city charter requires the City Commission to adopt an annual appropriation by February 1st of any given year. So that is the time frame that this budget needs to be approved by. That does not mean that there might not be amendments to the budget during the year. And that's certainly something that's happened before, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again. As a matter of fact, there are some spending categories that are newer to us here, including American Rescue Plan dollars, and we're going to be doing some further planning and budgeting around those dollars. So this is not the end of any discussion about budgeting during the year. There's probably be amendments coming our way, I would imagine, Manager Ritzma. So, however, we are required to approve a balanced budget for the year that we are currently in, and that is why we are taking that action tonight. At this point, then, I'd like to have a roll call. Deputy City Clerk Moss.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Juarez.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooney.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. This motion passes. Pretty amazing, actually, when you look at the size of the budget that we have here. And I'm hoping that we will feel that we're doing the good work for everyone who lives here in Kalamazoo with the money we've allocated. Looking forward to great here. Keep talking about it as we go forward. Next, we have reports and legislation. City Manager Ritzma, do you have a report?
Yes, tonight I do, Your Honor. First of all, I want to thank Steve Vicenci and his budget team as well for the great job they did leading us through this process. Also, the directors and department heads that were a part of the budget process. Thank you for seeing this through and look forward to the great things that we have before us in 2022. and the work we'll be doing for the community. I also want to recognize Grant Fletcher in the audience. He is our chair of the Downtown Economic Growth Authority and Downtown Development Authority, so he was here this evening as well. So last year at this time, around this time, I read a statement about our diversity, equity, inclusion work in the city as we were just beginning to have an organizational assessment around equity, and that work has been completed. But I really feel it's important to start this year off by reading the same statement, and then our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Director, Dorla Bonner, will be presenting a little bit on what's to come for the next couple months and beyond as far as creation of an equity plan as a result from that assessment. So I will read this statement. Racism is a painful part of American history. Systemic racism, unfortunately, is deeply rooted not only within our country, but within our cities and all our present-day local government institutions, including the city of Kalamazoo. Despite legislation meant to correct racial inequities, challenges remain, and the trauma and intersected toxic impacts caused by systemic racism are endured daily by people of color in our community. The city of Kalamazoo is committed to governing intentionally to create equitable and inclusive outcomes for everyone in Kalamazoo. This commitment begins with understanding and acknowledging the truth of our past and the harms that the city of Kalamazoo has historically played in creating and sustaining systemic racism. At the city of Kalamazoo, we are committed to this anti-racism journey, which will require courageous and continuous leadership and must be informed by the trauma caused by systemic racism, past and present. We hope to work collaboratively with our community and community organizations focused on realizing transformational change for racial equity. We understand that words are not enough, and we must demonstrate our commitment to transformational change with credible action to change policies, promote community healing, and increase trust, and ensure community members are treated fairly and are truly valued. So I would like to have, there you are, Director Bonner, come forward and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here and significant on this day, the National Day of Racial Healing. And I'm so encouraged after seeing those young people to know that I knew I wasn't in it alone, but to see a whole bunch of young people that are in it with us was really encouraging, and I appreciate this time to present to you all. What I want to talk about mainly is where we are with our assessment. It was interesting after we made the statement, the next day I got an email from the Michigan Department of Civil Rights where they have put out a press release celebrating us for taking that huge step of looking at ourselves, which is not, I'm learning as I work with other DEI officers and organizations across the nation, a lot of them don't do that. They just start the work. But we knew that there's no way to be transformative if you don't know where you start. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to do next. So that's why we did it, because we are focused on not just doing transactions, but making sure we are transformative internally. And our transformation internally will ultimately affect what we do externally. So we are committed to this work. So we were at the stage last year when we did it. The consultants, the Michigan Public Health Institute, not only talked to staff, but also to our boards and commissions. Because this work starts at the top and works down. We are all in this together because we're doing this together. And so now we're at the point that now that we have the report, and I think I've sent it to you all, so you can see it. It's a pretty dense report, but if you read it, just read it. I'll just say it like that. Just read it. What we're doing now with the Michigan Public Health Institute is they're hearing feedback from us and staff on how to prioritize the recommendations. Now make sure the report is actually
represents what we said and what staff and commissions and boards said. So put my glasses on February 24th, there will be a session for boards and commissions. And I wanted to talk to you before I sent you the email, because it's easier to say than to just read it. Why I need you, because I need you to help us determine what's important. And then we're going to write the plan from that. I want to acknowledge the team that we have and how we're doing this work. We are fortunate, and thank you all for approving the budget, because we made history. The DEI had its own line item tonight. It was in there as a department, so we made some history. A budget is a moral document. You support what you believe in, and by us putting the DEI department as a standalone lets me know even more so how much you all support the work we're trying to do. I'm appreciative of our team. Tanessa Patterson is our coordinator. I'm kind of give some background because I got all these new folks. Tanessa Patterson is a coordinator, and Assistant Chief Vic Green is doing this work in the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety. We are one organization with many arms, and we are working this together. We will have one plan that includes both the city, this part, and KDPS, because we are working together. And I want to tell you how much the position in KDPS is a trailblazing position. We have had other states call us to ask Assistant Chief Green, how did y'all do that? We want that. And so we are really following best practices and blazing trails that have not been blazed before anywhere. And so we could be proud of ourselves. Everything that we're doing and we didn't know it when we started it, but we're following best practices. And we didn't know, we just were doing what we thought we needed to do, and we're doing it together. Another thing I want to, so you all gonna participate, I thank you so much. I know I could feel the love. I can feel it. Because we need you. I need you, because you are leading us. So I need you. And there are other things that you're going to be asked to do, trust me. You're going to be asked to do some other things because we have to go the same way together for us to get somewhere. And I just wanted to share, just give you a little background of some of the things that we've done. Because we have been busy. Next month, be 2 years. We're at 2 years. And I was told by, we get calls from all over the country. I'm telling you, I'm just surprised people call us because they hear what we're doing. And he said, young lady, you've done more in 18 months than you even realize. And that's, I haven't done it alone. We have done a whole bunch. Approximately 100 of our staff have been through at least a one-day erase training, including the commission. Many of us have been through a 2.5-day session. The city manager made that statement. The second time we talked last year, it was recommended that we do it every year just to ground ourselves in why we're doing this work. We began the process this year of collecting demographic data for our outward-looking program so we can see who we're serving to make sure that we're being equitable. We procured a consultant to do work with our KDPS response to the social unrest. Our department was a part of that. We are responsible for the Chapter 18 Civil Rights Ordinance and the Civil Rights Board, and we're looking for a liaison. Hint, hint. One of y'all, come. We completed the analysis of impediments to fair housing. We had a cabinet book club where we read the book, Waking Up Right. We're a member of the International City Managers Association Equity Cohort. We're a member of the Government Alliance for Race and Equity Officers, part of the Michigan Department of Civil Rights Equity Council, and our team, Assistant Chief Green and Tanessa Patterson and I, have recently completed a certification in diversity and inclusion from Cornell University, because we want to be excellent in what we do. And so we're busy, we're doing a lot. I am really excited, especially after looking at these young people, that there's so much hope. It did me good, Appreciate this time. Thank you, City Manager. Thank you, Commission. I look forward to work with you. Call me, let's meet. If you want to hear our theory of change, how we're approaching this work, what our vision and our passion is. If you all know me, you know I'm very passionate, because I just am. because I believe in what I do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Bonner. Really appreciate your work. We'll pause there just for a moment. Thank you, Manager Ritzma. I really appreciate the optimism and enthusiasm as we get going. So thank you very, very much. Manager Ritzma, anything else?
That's all I have this evening, Your Honor.
Now is the time on our agenda for Commissioner comments. Commissioner Juarez.
Yeah. I'm just excited about being part of a commission that wants to see transformation happen in our community and is willing to do everything it takes to make that happen. Just really excited to see the youth that were here. That means a lot, to see young people who care. We live in a time where the young generation is so enticed by social media and being connected, and just to see how these youngsters have devoted time to volunteer and to make a difference is inspiring for me. And so I just commend those youngsters who came and were able to receive that recognition and that award. And so I don't got too much to say, but I'm excited, super excited.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Juarez. Commissioner Pradel.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to echo Commissioner Juarez as well, but for me, if you want to look at what the future looks like, we look to our youth because they are the future. And I think leaders should care a great deal about who and what comes next. And when you look at those youth today that receive those awards and all the wonderful things that they're doing, it leaves me with a lot of confidence that we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay both as a community but as a world. So I wanted to share that. Congratulations and kudos to everybody who's part of Team City of Kalamazoo on that $245 million budget. It's a huge, huge effort. I think back, it started all the way back to our 2 retreats that we had earlier in 2021, but certainly for city staff way before that. You heard Director Bonner say this, that the document reflects the values as a community. I really hope as a commission and as a city of Kalamazoo that we always prioritize people and the people of this community over things, and that our budget reflects that as a value system as we continue each year. And you heard from our last meeting conversations about youth, but I sincerely hope that rather than spread ourselves a mile wide and an inch thick and impact, we saw our youth tonight. I hope that if there's any area that we continue to put our foot on the gas and put transformational change in a big, significant, game-changing way, it's in our youth in the years to come, especially as we emerge from the pandemic. Lastly, I just wanted to share as well, I know we're kind of in the thick of pandemic here again with another surge. Just want to encourage people to do what they can to keep themselves safe, keep their families safe, mask up when they're able to in the community, think about other people. It's easy to become complacent when we get exhausted and tired in moments like this, but there's never been a time that we need to try to keep people safe than in this moment. There are a number of families with young kids who aren't able to get vaccinated. There's a significant number of people who have vulnerable health conditions and whatnot that we need to be thinking about as well. And off of that vein as well, I just continuously think about the people who are on the front line in our hospitals and our healthcare system, who have sacrificed themselves and their families and their well-being for the last 2 years to support this community and around the world. Those people are true, honest-to-God heroes. And if you have a chance to pat somebody on the back, treat them to a meal, if you see somebody with scrubs at a restaurant or something, please do whatever you can to make sure those people know how much this community has their backs and appreciate all they've done to get us through these last 2 years.
Thank you, Commissioner Pradel. Commissioner Hess.
My heart is full tonight. It is just full. Not only did we honor youth, we honored the elderly. We honored Irene, who has spent her entire century in Kalamazoo. So my heart is full, especially being inspired by our youth, as my two colleagues have said. And it only serves to increase my belief in the power of education in this city. Kalamazoo truly is an education community. And then as we move forward, Commission, I would like to bring our attention to the discretionary dollars that we do have now. And one of those things that I would like to ask us to bring an agenda item would be to increase the budget of the Shop with a Senior program through Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety. This is, it happened on the north side. I'd like to see it grow to the north side, the east side, and Edison neighborhoods, where seniors are invited to shop with a commissioner or a police officer, and it's a wonderful program. So I want to see us support that if we do, or if we can. I also want to honor Dorla with her passion and her passion for the work that she has been called to do. And as Beth Washington said in her presentation on Sunday, that it's not a call, it's a vocation. It is your vocation, Dorla, and you have accepted it, and we're so grateful to you for doing that and for helping move us forward. That said, we still have discretionary dollars to use on any project that you and Chief Green might see as transformational in this community, because where we put our dollars is where we value and shows our values. So I just want us to be aware of that and to be able and to show Dorla our support for her work in this community. And that said, the theme of MLK Day was it doesn't take just a day, and we can't just spend a day doing this. It takes a lifetime. And there are people in this room and people that have presented awards and received awards, and even Irene, that took a lifetime to make transformative things happen in this community. So I am proud to be a member of this commission and excited to the work before us as we spend that budget. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Hess. Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say, kind of echoing what everyone else here has said already, that I am glad to see so many youth that strive every day for social justice in one way or another. I hope they continue their journey wherever it may lead them. I hope they continue to uplift and inspire the youth of Kalamazoo and all the world. I also want to thank the sponsors that have also recognized the importance of this youth and giving them that award. Regarding the budget, I definitely want to thank the city staff. You guys have done a wonderful job putting together everything, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, helping us use our money wisely. And as Mayor Anderson said, there probably will be many amendments coming forward as we as a commission decide, how to use some of the funds that we have yet to spend and have yet to allocate. And yes, I agree again with Hess. I definitely support the increasing of the Shop with the Seniors, and also Director Bonner. I have already signed up for her meeting on February 24th, so hopefully I'll see many of you guys there also to support the work that they're doing here within the city of Kalamazoo. It's a good day. It's a great day. I think the city of Kalamazoo is going to be doing, again, a lot of great things. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'm so glad to be here. What I want to convey to our community at large is that COVID is still very real and present. As of today, the United States Postal Services will begin delivering shipments of free COVID tests to every resident who signs up. So if you would like to sign up, it is www.usps.com/COVID test. and the 4 tests will be for free. So I encourage our community to sign up to get those. Unfortunately, I will be burying a family member this weekend because of COVID. So I can't convey enough how real it is. We don't really understand it, but it is taking lives off the earth. And we can do something about that. And so my second thing is, I love the statement, Manager Ritzma, that you read in reference to anti-racism and DEI. And I am encouraged, and I want to Director Bonner to know that I am in full support of that. And when we talk about doing anti-racism work, it is not easy work. It is very difficult work. It is personal work, and it's collective work. And so in those moments when my white allies, brothers and sisters, are getting uncomfortable, just take a breath and turn to wonder as we do this work. I am committed to this work, and I am committed to the city doing something drastically different to ensure that everybody within our community is held as beloved. So thank you so much for this moment.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Hoffman. Would you be so kind as to read that address one more time as far as how you can get? These are mailed to your house, correct?
Yes.
No charge.
No charge.
All right.
It is www.usps.com/COVID test. And all you need is your name and your address.
Thank you so much. Vice Mayor Cooney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to thank the city manager for reading that statement, acknowledging the history and the present existence of systemic racism and the commitment of the city to do something serious about that. I love what my colleague just said about doing something transformational, really serious about racism. So that's the first thing. Second thing, the young people, what a shot in the arm. Just to hear these young people and all they've accomplished, all they're doing, it's just wonderful to hear that. And I want to acknowledge 2 young people out in the audience who are doing internships with me, Michaela and Tanisha, who are just like these people that came up in the beginning, who are totally giving their energy and their expertise to work on for social justice. And then finally, I just want to say something about Dr. Martin Luther King, honoring him. When we look on Dr. King, people think, okay, I have a dream. And that's wonderful, wonderful speech. But that was 1963. Dr. King lived 5 more years. And during those 5 years, he went through a radical transformation. So that what he was talking about at the end of his life was a little bit different. Not a little bit different, a lot different. At the end of his life, he was working with striking sanitation workers in Memphis and organizing a Poor People's March. Not just a march, but a campaign to go to Washington. And I think about what he was working for, and I think that in our city tonight, there are hungry people. There are unhoused people. There are parents who are striving mightily to meet the needs of their kids. And I think about our responsibility and our opportunity to impact that, especially since we have resources. And all my time on the city commission before, we always had ideas but no resources. Now we have resources. And I think this is a wonderful chance we have to really carry Dr. Martin Luther King's last crusade right here in our city.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Cooney. I just want to quickly thank a couple people who were at our wreath laying ceremony yesterday who made comments. President Montgomery from Western was there. Dr. Washington from Kalamazoo Valley Community College, 2 great partners of ours, were there to make some comments. Pastor Dr. Scott from Galilee also made comments. And our singing was led by someone who jumped into last minute, our own Director Bonner here, who wears many hats. One of them is being a could have been, I guess, a singing star in the world. So beautiful voice. Thank you for reading that on top of doing the serious work. So appreciate that very much. This is a nice pairing, I think, our budget and our Social Justice Youth Awards evening. And in a way, this is kind of resolution night for the beginning of our year, in a way, the passing of our budget and the new budget year resolution that we have just made and we're going to be making together. So I'm really looking forward to getting to work with everyone here on the City Commission, Manager Ritzma, Attorney Robinson, and the whole city team. Thank you so much. Recognizing that, though, I do want to mention, and I'll just have to be very careful about this, but one of our appointees who's done great work here at the city, Clerk Borling, has experienced some illness and has been out for a little while, will continue to be out for a little while. So I would like for all of us to make sure that we direct our prayers for Clerk Scott Borling towards him and his family in these trying times that he's had. A few other things about passing the budget is that big changes in downtown. You know, these are changes that haven't happened in the same way for probably 40 years. Got some budget issues. We're going to have some redirection there. We're going to have some serious thinking about how we're doing this downtown work we've been doing. And I look forward to further discussions about that. That's going to be something that's certainly going to be coming our way. I will say, great cities have great downtowns. So we need to make sure that whatever needs to happen here, working with our downtown partners, and thank you, Grant Fletcher, for being here. Got some big changes coming our way as far as our downtown work. If anyone is paying attention to other things that some of our partners are doing around town, Kalamazoo Gospel Ministries is now finally, after being pushed back again and again due to issues related to supply chain and construction costs, are on the verge of having a grand opening of their expanded services, housing services, shelter services down here, which will not only provide virtually an additional 200 beds here in Kalamazoo, keeping in mind that they have still never been full any night this year. Almost always have as up to 150 beds open there. Part of our shelter system in Kalamazoo, which happens to include 12 distinct different shelters in the city of Kalamazoo. So that's coming up. Some of the things that they're focusing on is giving people more elbow room down there, giving some private spaces, making sure that people are not sleeping on mats anymore, as it used to be in the emergency overnight shelter portion of the work they do, but people sleeping on cots. So thank you, partner in this work, to Kalamazoo Gospel Ministries, $10 million project here. Lodge House. Lodge House made an announcement. We've been moving forward on that. It's a Lift Foundation project that we're now accepting applications. This is for 60 studio apartments right here in Kalamazoo with a focus on people who have been without housing. Probably will not be available in terms of construction probably till April, but applications are now being accepted for the Lodge House. Like I say, there's a preference going on there for people who have not been housed. Another good piece of work that's happening out of the Lift Foundation. And just as far as recognizing the partners' work, and this is somewhat driven by a list of good things that are happening, which was in the, I believe, the Sunday paper of MLive. And the last thing I'd like to recognize along those lines is COVID emergency rental assistance, $0. Want to remind people that there are still, I think, in the neighborhood of $14 to $16 million still left. That said, more than that has already gone out the door to help prevent evictions. We are a community that has done a good job of getting this out the door. I will ask landlords to have some patience. I know things are getting a little bit backed up right now. We've got a big list of applications to work through. That is a problem, but We wouldn't have gotten this far if it weren't for the great work of Open Doors. Thank you. That's one of the 3 agencies working on getting this money out. Integrated Services of Kalamazoo, where I work, committed to this, and Housing Resources Incorporated. So that work goes on. It is possible now that this money we just got more money because we had been spending the money we had, so we got an additional allocation working through right now. This program presumably will go through September of this year. However, at some point, if there's enough applications in the queue in terms of requests, no new applications will be taken. Just to remind people, that benefit is still there. I would say the application process is relatively simple and easy. You can get some personalized help on that from those 3 organizations here in town, and it has made a great, great difference. We do need landlords to be patient, though. It's probably taking a month or 2 or sometimes longer to get these processed now that we've had these stacked up. So just ask everyone to hang with us. There are still resources there. This is for rent. This is for utilities. This is for water and sewer. As a matter of fact, I think there's even a little allocation for internet fees, that sort of thing. That's included in there. Great and important work, and it's work that shows that it is the community doing this together. The city is a partner. The city is not the only entity, but we are one of the entities that's trying to do this good work together, and we're going to do it together as a community. So, just like we are doing it together here on this commission. So I really, really appreciate everyone's efforts, everyone's caring, and I love you, Kalamazoo. We are adjourned.